Ah, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mortika Lacrosse, and this is a Mortika Lacrosse inauguration special. This is about Donald Trump, or as I like to call him, the dictator in command. And for all of you, I think a lot of you need to be informed of the dangers of a Donald Trump presidency, because you think he's this anti-establishment guy, for the people kind of guy, for women kind of guy, for children, and all this other supposed bullshit that he's not. And that's what I'm about to show you here in just a moment. The thing is Alex Jones, of the right-wing conspiracy theorist guy from Austin, Texas, this Alex Jones claims that Donald Trump is anti-establishment, but I'm about to show you how pro-establishment he really is with some of the things that he's going to pass for here while he's the dictator in command. The thing is he has labeled anything that held as holding police accountable for their actions as criminal activity, if you will. So, Eli, please roll this next stuff that we already previously recorded. Let's get to it. This is Exhibit A, if you will. This is from The Intercept, and the articles by Spencer Woodman, which was written on January 19, 2017 at 7:30 a.m. Republican lawmakers in 5 states propose bills to criminalize peaceful protest. Republican legislators across the country have quietly introduced a number of proposals to criminalize and discourage peaceful protest. The proposals would strengthen or supplement existing laws addressing the blocking or obstructing of traffic, come in response to a string of high-profile highway closures and other actions led by Black Lives Matter activists and proponents of the Dakota Access Pipeline. Republicans reasonably expect an invigorated protest movement during the Trump years. In North Dakota, for instance, Republicans introduced a bill last week that would allow motorists to run over and kill any protester obstructing a highway as long as the driver does so accidentally. In Minnesota, a bill introduced by Republicans last week seeks to dramatically stiffen fines for freeway protests and would allow prosecutors to seek a full year of jail time for protesters blocking a highway. Republicans in Washington state have proposed a plan to reclassify as a felony civil disobedience protests that are deemed economic terrorism. Republicans in Michigan introduced a then last month shelved anti-picketing law that would increase penalties against protesters and would make it easier for businesses to sue individual protesters for their actions. In Iowa, a Republican lawmaker has pledged to introduce legislation to crack down on highway protest. The anti-protesting bills have alarmed civil liberties watchdogs. This trend of anti-protest legislation dressed up as obstruction bills is deeply troubling, said Lee Rowland, a senior staff attorney at the American Civil Liberties Union, who views such bills as violations of the First Amendment. A law that would allow the state to charge a protester $10,000 for stepping in the wrong place or encourage a driver to get away with manslaughter because the victim was protesting is about one thing: chilling protest. In North Dakota, the author of the bill that would permit the killing of protesters has linked his legislation directly to anti-pipeline activists' successful protests that involved obstructing highways. Although the bill ostensibly requires drivers to act negligently or accidentally killing a protest, the bill's co-sponsor, Republican State Representative Keith Kaepernick, has said that some accidents might occur if motorists punch the accelerator rather than the brakes, according to Bismarck Tribune. If you stay off the roadway, this would never be an issue, said Kaepernick. These motorists are about the lawful legal exercise of their right to drive down the road. Republican legislators behind the anti-protesting bill in Minnesota have also said that their effort is in response to increasing number of highway closures by activists. Now for Exhibit B, if you will, which is from who reported on it was gaystarnews.com. Their title of the article is Department of Labor's LGBT Workplace Rights Report disappears from its website. Vanished 25 minutes after Donald Trump's swearing in. Donald Trump had been president of the U.S. less than half an hour when things started disappearing. First, it was the White House LGBT page, then the report on advancement where was it? Oh, the advancement of LGBT workplace rights on the Department of Labor rights website. Jay Franzone, who describes himself as a curator and communicator, quickly made note of the change on Twitter. It's only been 25 minutes and the Department of Labor's report on advancing LGBT work rights has been taken down, he tweeted. The department's LGBT page remains, and under its mission still states, our mission is to promote and protect opportunity for all workers, but isn't really specific, as you can see, from exactly what they supposedly mean by that. Trump's nominee to be Secretary of the Department of Labor is fast food CEO and dictator Andrew Pudzer. I guess he's a putz, and that's why his name's Putzer. At a conference last year concerning the Republican platform of which Pudzer was a committee member, he responded promisingly to the Ohio delegate David Johnson's comment dismissing political correct crap about transgender bathrooms. Pudzer chair said, however, we do to support non-discrimination, supposedly. This next part is Exhibit B, or C, I can't remember. It's another exhibit. From thehill.com, it's about the White House climate change webpage disappears after Trump's inauguration. It's by Max Greenwood. Less than an hour after President Trump, or we should call him Dictator in Command, so less than an hour after Dictator in Command Trump took the oath of office on today, the White House's webpage on climate change disappeared from the executive branch's main site, the latest sign that the new administration will divert resources and attention from the issue. The removal of the page from the White House's website came around the same time the site and other executive digital platforms were overhauled to reflect the new administration. The Obama administration's climate page still exists, but has migrated to the National Archives website. Trump has long denied, or at least questioned, the nearly nearly unanimous agreement among scientists, it's 97% by the way, that human activity is causing rapid shifts in the Earth's climate. At one point, the Dictator in Command called the phenomenon a hoax propagated by China to make U.S. manufacturing less competitive. He will also be brought into question whether the U.S. will adhere to the United Nations landmark climate deal, which went into effect last year. Trump has indicated that the U.S. could withdraw from the accord, through such a move would take years to accomplish. Former Dictator in Command Barack Obama expressed enthusiasm to tackle global climate change, yet obviously his actions speak louder than words, and he helped open the Dakota Access Pipeline and the Keystone Pipeline, but that's an entirely different story, if you will. Now, this next article is from Reason.com, and it's Trump White House vows to end dangerous anti-police atmosphere. What he really means, though, is stopping the feds from exposing police misconduct and lies. While Donald Trump was delivering an inauguration speech filled with grim references to American carnage and out-of-control crime on Friday, his White House was already launching its rhetorical war against police critics. The dangerous anti-police atmosphere in America is wrong, the White House says in its new page on law enforcement. And launched almost simultaneously with Trump's inauguration, the Trump administration will end it. Like much of Trump's rhetoric, the page is long on bigly statements and short on details about how his administration will accomplish the fraught task of repairing relations between the men and women in blue and the communities they serve. Much of the plan has to do with Trump's preoccupation with ending illegal immigration. So what Trump really means when he talks about ending the anti-police atmosphere is stopping the federal government from exposing civil rights violations that give credence to police reform groups and Black Lives Matter activists. One of the concrete plans that Trump administration does for restoring law and order is slashing the budget of the Civil Rights Division by $58 million, roughly a third of its requested budget for its current year. Trump's pick for Attorney General, Senator Jeff Sessions, has long been a staunch supporter of police and a critic of the Justice Department's civil rights investigation. If the Trump administration thinks, though, that giving lip service to Blue Lives Matter rhetoric can shield police from scrutiny will end antipathy toward police, it's in for a rough discovery. Now, this next article is from addictinginfo.org. Okay, so it's Trump to cut down Department of Justice's 25 violence against women grants and programs. by Ryan Denson on January 19, 2017 at 2:45 p.m. In an effort to slash $10.5 trillion in government spending instead of cutting the over-bloated military budget, over the next 10 years, Donald Trump has decided that the first target will be the Department of Justice's 25 grants of programs aimed at implementing the Federal Violence Against Women Act. This means that every grant authorized by the law of the last 25 years will be eliminated in entirety. To put it in perspective, Trump's cuts are double that of the cuts sought by White House Speaker Paul Ryan and the Republican House caucus. The Violence Against Women Act, a bipartisan law, that means Republicans and Democrats agreed to it, in the early 1990s has been reauthorized twice and is tasked with protecting, aiding, counseling, and saving women from abuse, harassment, intimidating, and stalking. Some of the 25 grants offered from the Department of Justice include Stop Violence Against Women Formula Grant, Sexual Assault Services Grant, State and Territorial Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence Coalition Program, Consolidated Grant Program to address children and youth experiencing domestic and sexual assault, grants to reduce sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking on college campuses, Legal Assistance for Victims Grants Program, Training and Services to End Violence Against Women with Disabilities Grant Program, Tribal Sexual Assault Services Program, Grant to Support Families in the Justice System Program, Rural Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence, Dating Violence, and Stalking Grant Program. All these grants will be gone, rendering the programs and the act overall moot. The man who loves a woman is about to defund all the services that protect them from abuse and battery. Let that sink in, America. The Republican war on women has taken a dramatic and ugly turn, and it's all thanks to Donald Trump. As you've seen from the footage that I just showed you, or the recordings, if you will, that Donald Trump is not at all what you've all been made to believe he is, a person of the people, or for women's rights, or pro-LGBT like Milo Yiannopoulos made you believe he was. He's in fact the exact opposite. He's a tyrant, and a tyrant will always find a pretext for his tyranny, and that tyrant has. His pretext of attacking the working class, he's found his pretext, and that pretext is defending police. But a tyrant will always find a pretext for his tyranny, and that is what has happened here today. I warned people about Donald Trump, and a lot of fucking people didn't listen. Just like they didn't listen to me when I told them and warned them that Bernie Sanders would sell them out to Hillary Clinton. The thing is you've been deceived, America. And now you're going to get 4 years of complete, utter shit. Because you thought it'd be awesome to vote for the racist. The chickens have come home to roost, and American imperialism is getting exactly what it fucking deserves. You didn't fucking listen to the far left. No, you listened to the Democrats and chose Hillary Clinton, and obviously that was going to be a loss. And then you guys chose Donald Trump because he was supposed to be better or some other bullshit, but he's just as imperialist as all the other fucking bastards. And now the chickens have come home to roost. America, you've got exactly what you fucking deserve. For years, that's all I have to say. I have nothing else more to add to this. I do find it funny, though, is that West Texas rapper J-Doz tried to tell me that Donald Trump was an anti-LGBT. And with that clip that I just played, it's obvious proof that Donald Trump is anti-LGBT. I remember that Aldous Valor said Donald Trump wasn't racist, and that all the people that support Aldous and all the people with Aldous Valor said that Donald Trump wasn't racist, yet you saw some of the stuff how he is racist by cutting the civil rights program as much as he can. William Hunter on Twitter was one of the other people too. Anyways, until next time, I'm Mortika Lacrosse. Peace out.